the other way is Jack Burton, and Carolina has a touchdown.
They're like, oh, well, we need real players. Oh, okay. So, you need your quarterback? Sure.
Another opportunity, spins out of a sack, throws it to the back of the end zone. He's got his man. Touchdown, New Orleans.
He's
Up
gone.
to the 30. He's gone, baby. My goodness. Somebody cool off that man's feet because they're on fire.
This is going to explode big time.
The SFL Network on Twitch welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
As the Gateway Arch stands ever present over the city of St. Louis, the hometown Gladiators hope that it will serve as the guiding beacon that will lead them to their first victory of a young season. A mix of green talent and veteran leadership seems primed and ready to lead the green and gold to a win. Flying in from the north, the Sioux Falls Sparrows will provide the opposition tonight, hoping to turn their season around after a tough 1-3 start. Two of the longest tenured SFL franchises meet on a Monday night in the Gateway City. Good evening, I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Trillo. Glad to have your company on this Monday evening, and also glad to have the company of Charles Doherty. Charles, good evening to you, my friend.
Good evening, Michael.
Gladiators have never beaten the Sparrows in their 4 meetings all time, and they're going to try and get the leg up over their rivals. Tonight we go down to the field for the coin toss. And it looks like the Gladiators will kick first. Kickoff is next. Don't go anywhere. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on Twitch TV. We are just about ready to go, and my apologies, it's going to be Sioux Falls getting us underway as the kicker, Sammy Prefontaine, is the ball on the tee at the 30-yard line. The ball is in the air, and it's game on from St. Louis and Budweiser Stadium. It's a short kick taken at the 15-yard line and up past the 30, out to the 34, and that is where St. Louis will begin the ball game, wearing their gold helmets tonight, green jerseys with black and gold trim, and we'll take you through their offensive stars in a moment as they go left to right in this first quarter. Quarterback Noah Johns in the I formation, Diesel Dawson, the running back, dotting that I. Johns to throw, Johns pressured, nobody open downfield, he finally gets the ball away and it's caught underneath. Fantastic protection from the offensive line, and Cody Scott picks up 5 yards on first down.
Yeah, that was a good blocking effort by the offensive line. One of the things I know they need to work on going forward is their protection of the quarterback. Johns has been sacked 11 times, which is tied for first in the league.
Heavy set 3 in the backfield, only one wide receiver, that's Finch. Here's a toss out to Dawson's strong side, and Diesel Dawson will pick up 3 of the 5 required. Will be 3rd down and 2. Here are the offensive stars for St. Louis. Quarterback is the rookie Noah Johns. The wide receivers are Nick Finch and Badir Ajlani. In the backfield is the other rookie Diesel Dawson, and Cody Scott is the tight end. We've worked through the first minute of competitive action here from St. Louis tonight. And now it's 3rd down and 2. Quick toss over the middle, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Cody Scott. And they had the ball knocked out of his hands, and it's going to be a 3-and-out to start the game for the Gladiators.
Yeah, that's been a problem they've had all season, is keeping those drives alive. Their 3rd down conversion rate's around 42%, and I know the coaches want to get it higher.
A.J. Levy back to receive the punt from Bo Zabrowski. as Zabrowski will punt from his own 30-yard line. Punt is in the air. And it's retrieved by Levy, and he'll bring it up to the 26-yard line. Here are the players to watch out for when Sioux Falls has the ball. Their quarterback of 8 seasons is Julian Tyree. Their wide receivers are A.J. Warren and Riley Porter. In the backfield is Colin Hart, and the tight end is Robert Garrett Jr. They'll start going right to left in their yellow helmets, white jerseys, white pants, black and yellow trim at their own 26-yard line. 9:46 to play, first quarter. Tyree short over the middle. That pass is complete. First play from scrimmage to Robert Garrett, and he'll gain 8 yards.
I think one of the things that Sioux Falls is trying to work on for their quarterback Tyree is to limit the number of interceptions. Coming into this game, he's got 5 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and they're hoping that the scale balances on the other way.
Second down and 2 at the 33. Tyree under center. The one wide out is Porter. And he's going to look that way down the field, and it's incomplete. Well defended by Colin Douglas. Let's run you through the defensive stars for St. Louis. Colin Douglas is one of the corners that just made that play. The other one is Drew Reilly. Safeties, Freeman Peltier, Ethan Kai, and Marquise Reed. And on the defensive line, it's the number 1 overall pick, Moore Rivers, and defensive tackle Shane Masters.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle to watch. Douglas against Porter. Porter likes to go in and rough up with the cornerbacks, and we saw a little of that on that last play.
Tyree on third down. Over the middle into traffic. The penalty flag flies, and the ball flies harmlessly over the hand of Porter. And we'll see what R62 has in store for us tonight. Oh, it's going to be pass interference, so just when they thought they got the stop, the penalty flag on Tyron Jones, the linebacker, means the drive continues for the Sparrows.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They had some pretty good defense there called for the Sparrows, and little mistakes like that add up and put you in a hole when the fourth quarter comes around.
Siege Falco in the chat asking for a replay on the penalty. I wish we would get one, but the truck says, no, we got to keep going. Here's a run formation from the Sparrows. Colin Hart yet to touch the ball today, but he will now on a strong side run. He gets a blocker out in front of him, and the blocker misses the block, but it doesn't stop. A first down run of 12 yards across the midfield to the St. Louis 46.
Yeah, that's what they're going to need to do to win. They're going to have to get Hart involved as much as they can. Last year, he was lighting up the league, and this year it seems like he's cooled off a little bit, but there's still a bunch of games to go, and hopefully this is the game where he takes off.
Hart 4 touchdowns on the year. And a long pass over the middle into traffic is caught down inside the 30 to the 28. That's Robert Garrett Jr., longest play of the night for either team. And we'll go down to another first down, Sparrows.
Yeah, that was a great pass by Tyree into Garrett. Garrett's, I believe this is his second game in the league. Last game he had 6 catches and a touchdown. So for a guy that just walked on the field, he's really making an impact.
Yeah, I mentioned that Colin Hart has 4 touchdowns on the year. All of those touchdowns were in week 1, a loss to the Atlanta Swarm. Now first and 10 at the St. Louis 28. Tyree out of the backfield. Here's Colin Hart. Gets a block and then cuts out after a gain of 5.
Yeah, it's good to see the 2 offensive linemen down the field helping them out. That's how you get the big runs. Didn't work for him on that play, but it's always a good sign when your offensive linemen are taking that extra stride down the field to help light up some of the defenders.
Colin Hart still has the tendency sometimes to run past his blockers and take on the defense himself. We'll see how that develops as the night goes on. Tyree down the field to the end zone, put it on the board! A beautiful rainbow pass that fell right into the hands of A.J. Warren. His first catch of the game equals 6 points for the Sparrows.
Yeah, great pass there on that go route right over. A.J. Warren had a step or two past the defender. Right when the ball came out of the quarterback's hand, he hit it 5th gear. We'll do without any pressure whatsoever.
Warren burned Drew Reilly, and Ethan Kai couldn't get there in time to save the touchdown. So Sioux Falls strikes first on their first drive, a very efficient first drive for the yellow and black. And the kicker, Sammy Prefontaine, is on to try the extra point, and that one is up and good. So with 7 minutes and 36 seconds to go in this evening's first quarter, Sioux Falls Sparrows 7, St. Louis Gladiators nothing. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Twitch TV. Stay with us. And that was a very efficient drive for the Sparrows. And now it's time, Charles, for St. Louis to see if they can get their offense going. They score a league-low 13.5 points per game.
Definitely. They have to get in motion. They've got the skill set there. I think it's just maybe a question of getting gelling a little bit on offense. They've got 2 rookies in the backfield between between Dawson and Johns, and I think they'll start coming around as the season progresses.
They'll start from their own 35 after a good return. I never went through the defensive stars for Sioux Falls. We'll get to that after this play. 1st and 10. Johns in the gun. John stands in, throws to the near side, almost threw an interception. It was off the hands of the defender, intended for Badir Ajlani. Here are the defensive starters for Sioux Falls. Linebackers Alex Parker, Jose Fuentes, and Nick Fargo. Corners John Barnhart and Terrell Davis, and safeties Jay Ringgold and A.J. Levy. And Charles, tonight the linebacking core for Sioux Falls is really going to be important as the lineup for a 2nd and 10 here.
Yeah, they're going to need to be able to read and react pretty quickly, especially on those flat passes. And swing
Dawson
passes.
made a man miss, and he gets a first down. Beautiful spin move by the rookie, only playing his 3rd SFL game.
It looked like on that, when he got the ball out there on the flat, that A.J. Levy actually flew over on top of him. Let's see if we get that on the replay.
We will. Oh, man.
He sailed over his helmet.
Dawson.
That was a nice move by the running back there. That was a veteran move.
And A.J. Levy must have thought he might have been about 6'8" or 6'9". 1st and 10 for St. Louis. Their first move of the chains of the night. Johns corrals a high snap, fires over the middle into traffic. That pass is caught beautifully by Cody Scott over the middle. Another first down into Sioux Falls territory at the 37. And this is what you'd like to see if you're a fan of the green and gold.
Oh, definitely. That's the type of, if you're going to pass in the middle, Johns did it textbook. You got to put it on a rope and get it right in there. You don't have a lot of time. He got rid of the ball quickly. His offensive line stood in tight for him, and that was a great execution.
And there's not many better catching passes over the middle in this league than Cody Scott. Here's Diesel Dawson on a run up the middle, falls forward for 1 yard. We were talking earlier about the linebackers for Sioux Falls. That's Jose Fuentes, Nick Fargo, and Alex Parker. They're gonna react to the ways they use Diesel Dawson, because they'll throw it out to the flat, they'll run him up the middle, they'll throw it to him over the middle. He's a very versatile back.
Yeah, definitely versatile. We just they need to keep him in the running game. The worst thing to do is to ease up on the running and focus on the pass, especially with this team. You got the Sioux Falls Sparrows. You got to keep them on the edge.
Well, I just mentioned Jose Fuentes did a beautiful read on Johns there as he jumped the route and knocked down the pass. It'll be 3rd and 9. And you mentioned 3rd down conversion rates earlier, and this is going to be a tough one with almost the full complement of yards to go.
Yeah, 42% is definitely something they need to work on. But, we've seen some flashes from Johns here. He just needs to get that ball out of his hands quickly.
He's alone in the backfield with 4 wide receivers in front of him. Plenty of time to throw. He's going to throw to the outside, and the corner ran the route better than the receiver did. It was intended for Tito Moss, and it was knocked away by Bobby Carpenter.
Yeah, it looks like Bobby Carpenter got into the way of the route and he wasn't able to finish the route there. Maybe that was a timing route to the sideline, and Carpenter was able to disrupt it.
So now, punter Zaboski is on for the punt, trying to pin Sioux Falls deep. Punt gets away from just inside the 50. And it looks like it's going to be good. Punt, and it goes out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Excellent. And it's something we've seen a lot this year across the league. A lot more of these coffin corner punts are going out of the sideline than rolling into the end zone.
Yeah, I love it when they're able to stop it on the, within the 10-yard line. The last couple games, I've seen that the special teams on basically all the teams are able to do that. Up until then, they've been doing a lot of that slide action in the end zone, which drives me crazy.
Second drive for Sioux Falls starts at their own 6-yard line. 5:56 to go. First quarter, they lead by 7. Tyree over the middle. Tipped and incomplete. Beautiful play there from the linebacker in the middle of the field, and it's going to be 2nd and 10. Mo Biggins made the knockdown.
Yeah, you can't fault Sioux Falls on that last drive. They were near perfect. Julian Tyree was 4 or 5 for about 53 yards, and his quarterback rating's out the roof.
2nd and 10 from the 6. Just about in the shadow of their own end zone, the Sparrows here. Pressure on the quarterback. He gets it away, and Porter makes a leaping catch at the 30-yard line to get the Sioux Falls Sparrows out of trouble.
Yeah, that was a great pass. He was under a little pressure. Tyree was able to get rid of it just at the right time, and worked out well for him. It's a key. Again, we said that the quick release in this league, if you hold on to the ball too long and can't get your wide receiver, you're going to pay either on the line or you're going to pay in the secondary.
We mentioned the Riley Porter-Colin Douglas battle. That's going to be one to watch all night, and currently it's 1-1.
Definitely.
Porter gets the better of
Porter is Tyree's favorite target. He's thrown to him most out of any other receiver.
Over the middle and stretching for the first down is Ray Lynn. That's the 3rd string wide receiver in the slot, and he'll pick up 10 yards at a first down.
And he is a big wide receiver at 6'6", 215. He just laid his arm out there and was able to one-hand it.
Packer Fred is new in the chat. I've seen you in the Discord, Packer Fred. Glad you're here. I'm glad you're enjoying SFL football with us on a Monday evening. And now a good run from Colin Hart here. He bowls over Biggins and then gets brought down after a gain of 8.
Yeah, I like the way they're mixing up the plays here between Hart and then the passing over the middle and the side. I think they need to keep doing that to keep the defense honest.
You see updated numbers for Julian Tyree, 150.5 the QBR so far, just under 100 yards, had a touchdown to his name in the first quarter. Pretty good start to a game if you're a quarterback. 2nd down and 2 from the Sioux Falls 48-yard line, just shy of midfield. Tyree, plenty of time in the pocket, throws out to Hart with plenty of room to run, and only a defensive lineman to beat, and he gets the first down, 4 yards on the pickup.
Yeah, a little slow reaction on the defensive side. Looked like they were anticipating a run, and Hart was able to sneak out there on a swing pass and had a couple seconds there before anyone was near him.
And another very efficient drive for the Sparrows. Another long drive. Good time of possession for Sioux Falls, and we'll see at halftime just how much that is a factor. And over the middle, it's tipped in the air, intercepted. And just like that, the ball goes back the other way as a bad bounce lands in the hand of Drew Reilly.
Yeah, Drew Reilly, that's his 2nd interception of the year. He's definitely a ball hawk here. And this is what St. Louis needs to do to take over in this game. They had an opportunity in front of them, and they took advantage of it.
And more Rivers in the chat. Thanks, Reilly, for his interception. And the Gladiators are on the field on offense for the 3rd time. John's under center at their own 25-yard line. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. He's going to throw near side. That pass is caught. Cody Scott, that's his 3rd catch already of the ball game. He's quickly becoming Johns' favorite target as he gains 7 yards.
Yeah, one of the things I like about Johns is he does try and spread the ball around, so you're not seeing a lot of tendency on who he's throwing to. So on there, he was able to get it to Cody Scott, and Scott's already got 3 receptions for 28 yards.
Haven't seen him throw to his favorite target, Nick Finch, yet. He's going to roll out. He's going to be under pressure. He's going to avoid a sack. He's going to throw incomplete, and I guess getting the ball out there is better than taking a sack, and good on him to avoid going down behind the line of scrimmage there.
Yeah, that was a veteran move, staying in the pocket there strong, while the pocket was collapsing on him. But the offensive lines, as we said before, the offensive line wasn't doing them any favors there. They need to buckle down there and keep their quarterback on his feet.
3rd down and 3 as it's quickly a pressure down again for the Gladiators. Linebackers crowd the line for the Sparrows, but they drop most of them in coverage. Here is Diesel Dawson, and he gets a 1st down up to the 39-yard line. And forgive me, that's not Dawson. That's Truckee Steck, the fullback, one of the perennial members of the all-name team here in the SFL.
Yeah, Truckee Steck, he's a big boy too at 6'5", 275. I thought he's actually going to step out of bounds, but he showed some dancer feet there, keeping in bounds and getting that 1st down.
Fullback doing ballet on the sidelines means the drive is extended for St. Louis up to their own 39-yard line. I formation. Only one wide receiver out there. Here's a handoff to Dawson. Dawson almost breaks one tackle. Good strong arms from the defender to bring him down. That's John Barnhart on the run blitz from the cornerback.
Yeah, they need to do more of that, I believe. I know that wasn't the best outcome for Dawson there, but they need to keep grinding it down the defensive line's throat.
Because if he gets free, he has speed. We've seen it in the past couple of weeks. On 2nd and 8, they're going to go all pass all the time. No running backs alongside Noah Johns. He takes the snap, goes over the middle. Pass is complete. Right there to make the stop is basically the entirety of the Sioux Falls linebacking core, and Scott only gets 3 yards.
Yeah, Scott, I believe that's his 4th reception. So they're going to need to start thinking about maybe some other options, or the defense is going to adjust like they did on that play.
Well, maybe you're trying to lull him to sleep and then hit him deep.
To Finch.
Finch has been the big play receiver on this team for a number of seasons now. Jones is going to run. He's going to run for the 1st down across the 50, and the most yards on a play for the St. Louis Gladiators in this game is a Noah Johns scramble. How about that?
Well, you don't see that very often, but that's the right thing to do. He showed some smarts there. He didn't get his wide receivers were covered downfield. He knew that the time was ticking away, and he did a smart move and got some yardage. 1st down as well.
And in that case, both of the linebackers dropped back in coverage, so there was nobody in the middle of the field to stop him. Here's a run for Dawson. He finds a hole and gets 5 yards, and now the St. Louis offense is ticking like they wanted to at the start of the game.
Yeah, good mix there. I think, again, they need to keep feeding the ball, keep spreading the ball around, and hopefully this drive they'll hit the end zone.
Currently at the Sioux Falls 38-yard line after starting at their own 25. Here's another run to Dawson. He's got a blocker. He's looking for a hole, and he almost found it. Excellent closing speed from Nick Fargo in his 5th season in the league. 4th with the Sioux Falls Sparrows, makes the tackle.
You know, Dawson's not getting the biggest holes there. He's making the best of what's given to him. He's showing a lot of field vision there and a lot of quick first-step speed.
They're not yet in field goal range, so they got to make this 3rd down count. 3rd and 3. From the 36-yard line. Under a minute to go now in the 1st quarter. The 1st quarter has gone by very fast here on the SFL Network on Twitch. John's going to throw deep. Johns is, it was off the hands of Badir Ajlani. Almost was able to bring it down, but A.J. Levy dragged him to the ground and made him cough up the football.
Yeah, that was a tough catch right there. I mean, he had Levy all over him, but that's the kind of thing that they're wishing they get a second shot at. But let's see if they try for a field goal here. Be a long 50, 53.
No, they're not going to do it. They don't want to put the onus on the leg of Graham Northrup, so it's going to be Zaboski for his 3rd punt in 3 drives in the 4th quarter. They're going to try and pin him deep, and it's into the end zone. And Sioux Falls will start at the 20-yard line with 32 seconds to go in the opening frame. And at that point, if you're the gunner downfield, I think you just need to let it go, and if it bounces into the end zone, it bounces into the end zone.
Yeah, let's see. I think this is their 2nd possession. Right now, they're 50% on from a scoring standpoint. Let's see if they can take it down this time.
This is their 3rd possession.
That's right.
But they are 50% as Tyree takes a sack. First sack of the game goes to Shane Masters.
I believe that's his 1st sack of the year. Is that right?
It is indeed his 1st sack of the year and his 2nd tackle for loss.
It couldn't come at a better time. You needed to cool down that Tyree quarterback. He showed his power up the middle. He's definitely got the skills to be a big-time sack star, but he hasn't shown a lot of that on the field this year. But hopefully this will get him started.
Over the middle, almost intercepted as the route was jumped. He was looking for Riley Porter, and the route was jumped by Marquise Reed. And, oh, man, if that had been picked off, he might have been gone all the way to the house.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That is definitely dangerous. He would have gone to the house. You're right.
Now with 3 seconds left in the quarter, we're going to get one more play, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 14. And yesterday, in the game I was calling, they were converting 3rd downs from everywhere, so I do not rule out Sioux Falls getting this. Here is Tyree, short drop, and he's going to go down again. 2nd tackle in 3 plays, and that's how the quarter ends. The Simulation Football League on Twitch is presented by APM Music, Production Music Library and Custom Music House, and brought to you in part by Fuel Beyond Imagination. Visit the all-new SFL Interactive.net today. By Matt Doyle Designs, the official branding partner of the SFL. By MediaTek Institute, turn your passion into your profession. Aerial shots throughout the year provided to you by AirViews, united by drone. Visit airviews.com to see more drone footage. And at the end of the first quarter, we mentioned how Shane Masters had no sacks coming into the game. He's got 2 in 3 plays and is forcing a deep punt from Sioux Falls.
Yeah, he's charged up. That's awesome. You're sure that was Master on the 2nd sack?
That was Masters on the 2nd sack. It looked like to me.
Yeah, I had a hard time seeing it. Good eyes.
The punt is from Max Boholtz, and it's going to be really good starting field position for St. Louis up near midfield at the 48-yard line, and they've been close so far. They've gotten close to field goal range, and they've had a few bad bounces go their way. You feel like the time is coming for St. Louis in the offense.
Yeah, we want to get them in the end zone. It seems like once they cross the 50, they start to slow down and start sputtering a little bit.
They're in this I formation with Nick Finch, the lone receiver. And Johns hands to Dawson, and Dawson again finds it tough over the middle. He gets 3 yards that time before he runs into A.J. Levy and Alex Parker.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Dawson to spring one here. He's reading the right holes. He just needs, a little bit more extra blocking from his support.
2nd and 7. First couple of plays of the second quarter, and Dawson is wrapped up and dropped behind the line of scrimmage. John Barnhart, that's his 2nd tackle for loss of the game.
Yeah, they had it read, that outside run. He wasn't going anywhere. They had gang there, and Barnhart was able to grab him first and bring him down. That's a tough thing to do, an open field tackle like that.
Now Barnhart is matched on the outside with Finch on this 3rd down and 8. Johns, plenty of time, scrambles, throws an interception, and back goes Jay Ringgold to the house, put it on the board. Sioux Falls doubles the lead via the interception.
That's his 4th of the year. Ringgold takes it into the end zone. Looks like Johns was starting to feel the pressure here and had his feet were moving around. He got rid of the balls quickly, but guess he didn't see Ringgold there just waiting for that prize, and he took it to the house.
It looked like he was trying to hit either Finch or Tito Moss. They were both there, and Jay Ringgold says, "I'll have some of that." And 6 points at his first interception return for a touchdown on the season. And Sioux Falls, pending the extra point, goes up 14-0. So each quarterback with an interception so far. It is up and good, the extra point. So with 9:44 to go in the first half, it's Sioux Falls 14, St. Louis nothing. This is the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music on Twitch. Michael Cirillo, Charles Doherty on the call from this one from Budweiser Stadium in the Gateway City, St. Louis, Missouri. And the hometown Gladiators are backs to the wall again, down 14-0 in the first half. Here is the return. It's a pretty good one up to the 29. Jacob Swaim is the return man for the Gladiators. And Charles, it seems like we're beating a dead horse here, but it's these little mistakes, and little mistakes add up, and Sioux Falls has a 14-point lead.
Definitely, this is a very big series for them. They have to respond to that, or this game could start getting away from them.
A handoff goes to Dawson, and Dawson escapes, and Dawson gets a block. Oh, almost got away. He got 8 yards, and he ran backwards for half of the run.
Yeah, that was. I didn't see who did that block, but that was the block of the game. He leveled. It looked like the linebacker was coming in on the outside and got destroyed.
Back when we had the block of the game, I don't even remember who sponsored the block of the game. I've blocked it from my memory. Back last season. Here's the handoff to Dawson, and he's going to reward them with a first down. It was Everscroll, the watch company, sponsored the block of the game. Yeah, I remember that. They don't anymore, but it just popped into my head.
Well, hats off to St. Louis. They're not panicking. They're staying with their game plan, and looks like Dawson's starting to get revved up.
John's under center. He's going to toss it out to Dawson. Dawson with room to run, and he does so beautifully. 11 yards in the first down into Sioux Falls territory at the 48-yard line. They're riding the rookie, and he's carrying them into Sioux Falls territory.
Yeah, he had to put a little extra effort in there to get that pass. Wasn't right where he wanted it to be, but he was able to overcome, grab that, and get a first down.
I like the speed to get past Alex Parker. Parker was eventually able to catch up and make the tackle, but it looked like he was going to be tackled for maybe only a 1 or 2 yard gain, but he scampered towards the corner.
Yeah, that was great recovery, and he had that afterburner. You can see that kick in.
First down and 10 from the 48-yard line of Sioux Falls. Johns reads the defense and almost throws another pick six. Oh, man, A.J. Levy almost had that one.
Yeah, that's happening way too often. I mean, it's just a matter of time that they may wind up taking it back again to the house. He was wide open, like you said.
And it's Johns not getting enough air under the ball, because where he's throwing the ball, there's receivers there. It's just they're able to read it and undercut the route. On 2nd and 10, Dawson will go for 2 up the middle and get tackled by Parker.
Well, I also think he's here in the rush too, coming in, because his feet are moving a lot in the pocket, and that's probably impacting his throw.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch these linebackers play after play after play, whether they rush or they sit back or they just cover the middle. And it's in John's head, it looks like. 3rd down and 8 now. Another long 3rd down as Johns looks. Pressure coming, and he's going to go down for a huge sack. He's going to lose 8 yards, and it's going to be 4th and 16 all the way back at the St. Louis 47-yard line. Tyrone Black with the sack.
Yeah, that's the absolute worst thing that could happen to Johns. His offensive line isn't giving him any help whatsoever. That was a 4-man rush. They were able to dominate that line and get to the quarterback. They're going to have to make some improvements. If it means putting in a tight end or a fullback in there to help pass block, that's what they need to do.
Really short punt with Levy, fields it up to 30 and gets up to the 35. And now Sioux Falls has another chance to extend the lead, although the Sioux Falls offense really hasn't done much since the first drive of the game where they went all the way down and scored.
Definitely. Tyree's cooled off a little bit. His quarterback rating has gone down to, I think, around 80. It was up in the 130s at the beginning of the quarter. So he's starting to cool off a little bit as they settle in.
So job done for the most part for the St. Louis defense. And, almost took a sack there. Got it out to Colin Hart, and Colin Hart almost breaks a tackle. But the defender hangs on, and he'll gain 6 yards.
Yeah, that was definitely good pass rush by St. Louis. Just half a second too slow, and you're going up against a veteran quarterback like Tyree, who's been doing this for on his 8th season. He knows he's got to get rid of that ball quickly.
Running formation, and they will run strong side, but it's blown up in the backfield. Beautifully read by the Gladiators defense. Dropped for a loss of 2. And there was more Rivers in the backfield.
More Rivers.
Eat him up.
Wow, yeah, he blew up that line to bring that running back in the backfield. Let's just hope he keeps his shirt on.
More Rivers, the #1 overall pick of the most recent SFL draft. Now 3rd and 6. Tyree, plenty of time over the middle. Tipped it incomplete, and it was almost picked off by Peltier.
Yeah, that was a dangerous pass. It looked like they had all the wide receivers and all the defensive backs all within the middle of the field. Didn't look like they had any routes going to the outside.
And another punt, the 2nd in a row, coming from Moholtz. And again, St. Louis is going to have decent field position as the punt's going to get away from about the 25-yard line.
Yep, the defense did what they needed to do. Now let's see if the Gladiator offense can respond.
Here is Swaim. Spins away from one tackler and gets up to his own 28. As Cheeseburger Rivers in the chat takes his shirt off. He deserves it after that hit. It was a good read. Went right to the defense, got the tackle for loss.
So far, so we haven't seen either Agelani's been targeted 2 times, but Finch has not been targeted at all tonight.
Yeah, we really need to see some Nick Finch if they want to get here. But here's Dawson out of the backfield, can't spin away from the tackle gains 2. And there is the ever-present A.J. Levy in his 8th season in the Simulation Football League. One of the longest tenured players in the league. We got a bunch of them tonight, and they're all on the defensive end. Freeman Peltier's played 6 seasons. Colin Douglas has played 7 seasons. Now we've got some SFL royalty on stage with us tonight.
Yeah, and Levy's making his a name for himself out there tonight. He's pretty much on every play. He's got 2 pass deflections so far. Maybe we'll get an interception before the day's over.
And another tackle on Dawson for Levy. 3rd down and 6 coming up as Dawson only gains 2 more. And I know what they're trying to do, St. Louis. They're trying to run to set up the pass, but Dawson is not getting enough yards on 1st and 2nd down, or they're just having to heave it on 3rd and long every time. Here is Johns. He'll step back to throw. Pressure in his face. He throws down the field, and he overthrew his receiver, who was Leonardo Short. Summers was there to break it up.
Yeah,
And
well, it's an incredible luxury for a defense to have when they can get pressure on a quarterback with 4 down linemen or 3 down linemen. That gives you another defender that can go back in zone or man and cover a receiver. So, Johns is having a heck of a time finding an open receiver, and he's getting a lot of pressure. So again, back to the offensive line. They're not doing what they need to do to keep him safe.
And Levy, as AJ Pick 6 reminds me in the chat, was inducted into the SFL Hall of Fame at the most recent SFL convention. You and I were both there, Charles, to see that happen.
Yeah, that was a great time. That was a great event.
If you weren't in Atlanta this year, or even if you were, make plans to get to one of those events in the future. It is a great time hanging out with everybody in the SFL. 1st and 10 for Sioux Falls from their own 42-yard line as Tyree lines up under center. 4:29 to go is a handoff to Colin Hart. Somehow escapes out of the tackle and gets through for 15 yards and a 1st down. Colin Hart, maybe Colin Houdini is a better name.
Yeah, definitely Colin Houdini. I definitely thought he was going down on that. He was able to show some strength and rip away from the defender and get that big gain.
Oh, my goodness. Bo Knowles is going to have that one in his nightmares because...
Yeah, he had him.
He had him, and suddenly he was gone. Now at the St. Louis 43, under 4 minutes to go in the 1st half. Here's a throw out to Colin Hart again. He's got running room. Spin move will not take him past Ethan Kai, and a gain of 5 yards.
Yeah, the downfield blocking didn't do him any favors. They were 15 yards, 20 yards ahead of him, blocking the second level of defenders, where they had two look like a cornerback and a linebacker homing in on Colin.
Sometimes you leave Colin Hart all the work to do. Sometimes he doesn't, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Here is Tyree going deep. Intercepted for the second time. Colin Douglas makes the interception in his second of the season.
Yeah, the St. Louis Gladiator defense, they're doing what they need to do after that first touchdown in the first quarter. They've been playing lights out, I think. Again, they're handing the ball back to the offense. Let's see if they figure out a way to protect their quarterback and get into the end zone.
That may be the interception of the season from Colin Douglas. That was incredible. Leaping, twisting, he found the ball, high-pointed it, and came down with it as Diesel Dawson gets 5 yards on a first down run.
Yeah, I still like it, though. As much as we're saying about the offensive line, I still like the game plan that they've got Dawson involved. I think he's going to be the linchpin to this succeeding.
We haven't really seen St. Louis go deep tonight.
He doesn't have the time to throw deep.
That's true. He's going to throw deep this time, and it's incomplete. He led the receiver too far into traffic. And guess who? It's number 42. A.J. Levy gets another pass breakup.
Yep, it looked like Johns had some pressure again. He had to step into the pocket. That was a smart move on his part to extend the play. Just there wasn't anyone open, and Levy was all over the wide receiver.
It looked like that ball may have been intended for the crossing route, which was Badir Ajlani. And he just threw it a little bit too far, and Tito Moss couldn't pick up the pieces. Now at 3rd and 5, 2:52 to go in the first half, at their own 18-yard line. Johns back to pass, moves in the pocket again, and he throws it way too high over the defender. And he's asking the referee for pass interference, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, that was pretty much a tackle. Again, like you said, they're getting pressure in on every play.
And another punt for Zabrowski, and I've pretty much lost count how many times he's punted tonight. It must be 6 or 7 already in the first half.
Yeah, he's going to have to ice his leg at halftime.
Zabrowski's also going to have to punt from inside his own 5-yard line. It's going to be fantastic field position for A.J. Levy and the Sparrows with 2:40 to go in the first half. They're going to start from the St. Louis 39-yard line, and they're almost in field position already.
Yeah, this is going to be a test for St. Louis Gladiators defense. So far, they've been outside of that one touchdown, they've done their job. Let's see how they do here with the ball in their territory.
Oh, and another sack! 3rd of the game, and this time it's the rookie, Moore Rivers.
That's just pure strength. He just blew past that guard. There was no way that guard was stopping him from the quarterback. Yeah, that rookie's making a name for himself. I believe that's his, was that his 4th sack of the year?
You are indeed correct. His 4th of the season. He just stared down Corey Fuata and said, "I'm going past you, and there's nothing you can do about it." 2nd down and 14. Tyree over the middle, and he finds the basket of the receiver. Riley Porter makes a great catch and gains all those yards back and more. 1st down at the St. Louis 25.
Yeah, they had better pass protection in there on that play. Tyree had the time to get the ball out, but there wasn't much of a hole in there to get it to, to Porter. It was closing fast, and you could just see his arm strength and release, able to get it in there on such a quick time.
We have hit the 2-minute warning here from Budweiser Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Sioux Falls 14, St. Louis nothing. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Twitch. And maybe a potential another touchdown for Sioux Falls before the break. They've got 2 minutes to go. Long drop. Oh, and a big pressure. And they're going to count it as a fumble. Fortunately, Chuck Allen, the center, was right there to fall on it. But again, pressure up the middle from St. Louis. And it's second down and 18.
Is that worth a review? Because it looked like his arm was going forward.
Yeah, I guess, because that's 8 yards lost when you really shouldn't be. I guess it is worth the review. And that's very close. From that angle, it was tough to see. Let's see if we'll slow it down. I don't think we will.
Yeah, that's a tough angle to make a
Let's
call.
see what our 62 has to
Let's
say.
hope the ref has a different angle.
Yeah, well, he's going to call that it was a forward pass, and Sioux Falls gains those yards back. It wasn't a challenge. It was a booth review because we're inside the last 2 minutes of the half.
Yeah, they dodged a bullet on that one.
It's second down and 10 rather than second and 18 from the St. Louis 25. Tyree, plenty of time, throws into traffic. It's caught in triple coverage by A.J. Warren. Tyree up to 133 yards, and this is the first time either team's been in the red zone today. They'll start at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I think that's Warren's been targeted twice, but he does have that one touchdown. I think they're going to need to keep throwing the ball to him because he's clearly got the hands of glue today.
Hart loses 2. Excellent pursuit angle by Freeman Peltier. And it'll be second and goal.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. They got the ball in decent position, and they have plenty of time on the clock. I don't recall them doing any runs on this series. Do you?
They had 1, and it was a loss of 2 back. I think it was the first play of the drive.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Now just over a minute to go. Second and goal. Tyree stands in. End zone wide open. You can put it on the board. It's a second touchdown of the game for A.J. Warren on only his 3rd catch.
Yeah, that makes 3 for the year. He's really on fire today. They got to keep scheming to him because whoever's supposed to cover him isn't doing their job.
Well, St. Louis sent the house, and it left a wide open space in the middle for A.J. Warren to find himself in for his second touchdown, and pending the extra point by Sammy Prefontaine, which is up and good. It is 21-0, and it's a long way back for the St. Louis Gladiators, who have not scored more than 15 points this season.
Yeah, and in each series it gets tougher and tougher for the St. Louis defense because eventually they're going to start, showing the effects of being on the field too long.
Kick is away from Prefontaine. Returned by Swain up to the 28. Only 55 seconds to go in the first half. Both teams still have all 3 timeouts. The Sioux Falls Sparrows have, as I mentioned, off to a slow start to this season, 1-2. And Jason McGee and A.J. Levy's team have made the playoffs every season they've been in the league since Season 6, except Season 9 was the 1 year they did not make the playoffs. So a perennial powerhouse they've built in Sioux Falls and looking to get back on to winning ways this week. And Diesel Dawson gets a block, and he gets a second one, and he gets 11 yards and a first down. I'm not sure why you're running the ball with less than a minute to go unless you just kind of want to take it to the locker room. Here's Noah Johns over the middle. It's tipped and almost intercepted. Oh. Jay Ringgold probably wasn't expecting the ball to fall to him, or he would have had his second interception of the day.
Yeah, that was definitely dangerous. Dangerous pass. I don't think the wide receiver was open, and he was also running a pattern right in the middle of the field. There would have been no way for him to get out of bounds. Well, I guess they could have called a timeout too.
They still have 3 timeouts, and the ball was right off the hands of the receiver. Here is Johns, 2nd and 10. Plenty of time. Throws underneath. Oh, and the defender tried to go for the spectacular interception and missed completely. And a timeout is called at the 49-yard line.
They still got about, 21 yards to go for field goal in 30 seconds. They're going to have to start running some patterns to the sidelines.
And they got 2 timeouts. They can throw it deep. And this is the first time we've seen a bunch formation from St. Louis today. 3 receivers all packed in on the left-hand side. And they're going to play action and throw. And incomplete. Oh, it's intercepted again. Another pick by Ringgold. And he's going down the sideline. An amazing tackle by Badir Ajlani saves a touchdown.
Wow.
Jay Ringgold almost had a second pick six in the first half.
Yeah, it looked like Jay Ringgold got a little gassed there after about 20 yards because he went from 5th gear maybe down to 3rd or 2nd. But he's playing the defensive game of his life. This is his 2nd interception today.
That time it was a deflection by Nick Fargo right into the hands of Ringgold, and he took off the other direction. Now, Sioux Falls has 3 timeouts from the St. Louis 20 and 21 seconds to get another score. To the far side, pass complete to Porter and out of bounds. It only took 2 seconds to get 7 yards.
Yeah, that was a good route. I mean, they do have timeouts, like you say, but it's always good to spread the ball around on the sides to keep that defense honest. Oh, wow, they're reviewing.
Well, we're going to have another booth review. You see if Riley Porter maintained an inbounds position. And let's see. Oh, he's clearly in. He got 2 feet down.
Yep, 1-2.
After review, the play stands. The pass was complete.
Unreal.
Prior to going out of bounds. 2nd down.
Wow.
Did they just overturn that?
That was bad. Wow.
I am not sure what game R62 is watching.
Wow.
Wait.
Wait a minute.
No, they're not. They say it was a completed pass. I'm not sure.
What was that?
I don't know. Everybody just needs to take a little break at halftime and recompose. Here's Tyree throwing to Hart. Hart's not going to get the first down. He's going to be 2 yards short. And Sioux Falls takes their first timeout.
Yeah, this was the worst case scenario for the St. Louis Gladiators on that last drive, giving the ball back and giving them an opportunity to put 24 on the board, at least 24 on the board before the half.
And they will go for 24. Prefontaine is going to kick from 29, will be the try. Bit of a high snap, but corralled well and up and good. Right down Main Street from 28 yards is the official length. And right before the half, it's Sioux Falls 24, St. Louis nothing, and it's just kind of snowballed out of control for the hometown team in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, they're in quite a bit of a hole, but with the right. We've seen teams come back from deficits like this before, but it's going to take they're going to have a near perfect second half.
Prefontaine, another kickoff. He's getting a workout today of a different sort to the punter for St. Louis Saboski. 5 seconds left, and I fully expect just to hand off to Dawson and head into the break.
Yeah, they gotta end this half and go huddle up and figure out what changes they're going to need to make.
Well, they're in the Hail Mary formation, so no handoffs here. Johns with all the targets to find. And, the offensive lineman out to dinner, but he stays on his feet and throws it away. And that's how the half will end. We will go to the break with Sioux Falls all over St. Louis. It's 24-0. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Twitch TV. And as the stats and highlights scroll across your screen, Charles, just give me your opinions on that first half of football.
Well, I mean, St. Louis was capitalizing on every mistake that Sioux Falls was capitalizing on every mistake that St. Louis made, and they made a couple. And you saw 2 touchdowns return for score. Tyree's been a pretty solid. You know, he started out hot, started to cool off a little bit, but he's getting the job done at quarterback. But on the other side of the field, the St. Louis defense is doing everything they can to stop Sioux Falls, but they've just been out on the field too long, and they're starting to wear out a little bit, I believe. So, you know, the burden is going to be on the St. Louis offense next half. Start putting some points on the board.
You saw the time of possession numbers, and it's actually St. Louis has more time of possession. But again, no points. And you mentioned the St. Louis defense has actually only given up 14 of the 24 points. And they've been put in some pretty bad situations by some turnovers. And they've made 2 turnovers themselves, as you saw the interceptions there by Douglas and Reilly. And I think that the most important thing for St. Louis is to get protection for Noah Johns, because on almost every play, he's dancing in the pocket, he's scrambling, he's running around, he can't get his feet set, and he's making errant throws because of it.
Yeah, I don't care who you put back there in the backfield. If you don't have protection, you know, you could be a Hall of Fame quarterback, and you're not going to be able to get the job done.
We are back at Budweiser Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri for the second half. Michael Chirillo, Charles Doherty in the booth with you today. Sioux Falls currently with a 24-0 lead over the hometown Gladiator, and they to start the second half.
We also got to give a shout out to the stats. Mark Lopez is doing a great job keeping us informed of what's going on from a number standpoint.
Mark Lopez is doing a fantastic job. And if you are out there in the SFL, you're not on a team yet because you just saw the game on 11 Sports, you were excited, you joined up, and now you're looking for something to do, the Stats team is a great place to make your name. All you have to do is show up, watch the games each week, and put the stats into the spreadsheets, and it really helps the broadcast shine that much brighter. If you're interested, contact Mark Lopez on Discord. So we'll start the second half with a pass from Julian Tyree to Kylan Hart underneath. And he will barely get back to the line of scrimmage. Good closure by the defense from St. Louis.
Yeah, the defense, they're really, you know, for the most part, balling out. And, again, they maybe they need to put a little more heat on the quarterback, but I don't know what else they can do. I think the St. Louis offense again is going to have to step it up.
And they've done well in that regard as well. They got 3 sacks on Tyree and almost a 4th one, but down the field it is complete to Robert Garrett. And that's the problem when you rush too many, you leave someone unguarded in the back of the defense.
Yeah, and Tyree is going to know where that receiver is to get rid of the ball, and it's just happened to be Tyree on that play. Garrett on that play. I'm really impressed with Garrett too. I mean, this is his second game, and yeah, he's really lighting it up.
1st and 10 now at the Sioux Falls 45. Handoff goes to Hart. He gets a block and gets around the outside, and is only brought down after he gets the first down. He'll get 11 yards, and it was brought down by Freeman Peltier.
Yeah, he's got 11 yards. So far, he's, I think, near 50 yards for the game, but his yard per carry is about 7.8. So maybe as they hold on to this lead, we'll start seeing some more runs out of Hart.
And that time he followed his blockers. We were critical of Hart in the first half for trying to do it all himself and not waiting for his blocks to get set up. That time he ran it to perfection. 1st and 10 now in St. Louis territory. At the 43-yard line, Tyree, 2 throw to the far side. That pass is complete. As you see the quarterback numbers, Tyree almost doubling up the yardage of Noah Johns in this ball game.
Yeah, it's you need to have a couple more numbers on that first column. It's the zero is not looking good.
Tyree a handoff to Hart, stuffed at the line of scrimmage, going nowhere. Another good push from the defensive line, rather, for the Gladiators. Scott Underwood made that tackle.
Yeah, the defensive line, they've really shown up today. Masters has had all of his sacks for the season in this one game.
And Rivers has one as well. 3rd down and 5. Tyree, plenty of time over the middle, and again, underneath that soft zone is A.J. Warren. Every catch he's made tonight, and he hasn't made many, have been perfect.
Yep, he's caught everyone he's been thrown to 4 times. He's caught it every time. He's averaging 17 yards per reception and 2 touchdowns.
So he is, if you can call him in with 2 touchdowns quietly having one of the games of the season for a receiver. Here's Colin Hart again. Gets another block off the strong side run, and he's got 11 more yards and a 1st down out of the 9.
Yeah, this time he followed the blockers. Everyone on the offensive side did what they needed to do. Downfield blocking was excellent, and Hart just read the play out, let it progress, and followed the right path there for the 1st down.
This drive is reminding me a lot of the first drive of the game, or Sioux Falls' first drive of the game, where they went all the way down the field and scored with little to no opposition. Now at the 9-yard line, here's another handoff to Hart, and up the middle they're getting nothing because Shane Masters and Moore Rivers are just there every time. Masters with the TFL.
Yeah, I think they're going to reconsider whether or not they're going to be running it at Masters anymore today. Yeah, he's a beast up there. He's not I don't believe he's the biggest lineman out there. I think he might be one of the lightest ones, but man, he really handles himself on that line.
Here's a throw out to Hart, and he's hit in the backfield and dropped for a 2nd straight loss. Drew really read that play beautifully, and it's 3rd and goal from the 14.
Yeah, Drew really that's a hard tackle to make on Hart in the open field, and you saw his closing speed, and he was able to bring Hart down. Otherwise, it was going to be another big gain.
And now no Colin Hart even on the field. As Tyree pumps, looks, pressure in his face to the end zone. It's tipped, and it eventually hits the turf after pinballing around through about 3 or 4 pairs of hands, and Marquise Reed eventually had the knockdown that sent the ball to the ground.
Yeah, a dangerous pass in the middle there. The defense, you got to give the hats off to the defense again. I know they're probably going to walk away with at least an attempted field goal here, but I think they've stopped the bleeding. It could have been a lot worse.
It's going to be a 30-yard attempt for Prefontaine, who is perfect so far tonight. And it is up. And right down Main Street from 30. So Sioux Falls takes the 27-0 lead. You're watching the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music on Twitch. And don't forget, this is not the end of SFL action this week. Going on right now on 11 Sports and 11 Sports Next, it's the Battle of the Carolinas, with the Carolina Skyhawks taking on the Charleston Predators. And then tonight, it's the Fan Night Game of the Week with Mike Daggs and Matt Wilson as 2 of the SFL's most successful franchises go head-to-head as Queen City faces Alaska. And then Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, Atlanta and New Orleans face off, and then 9:30 Central to round out the week. Denver plays Houston. All of those games on 11 Sports Network and 11 Sports Next.
So hopefully on this series, Michael, they'll make some completions to Finch or Agilani, because neither of them have a reception this game.
Well, right now it's Dawson, and the Diesel Dawson show continues to bowl over people and get 7 yards. And he's not had a bad game, Dawson. It's just he's not been put in positions to score touchdowns.
It's been the Cody Scott and Diesel Dawson show. credit to the cornerbacks of the Sioux Falls defense. They've pretty much taken Finch and Agilani out of the game.
2nd and 3. Johns, plenty of time, throws down the middle, and it's a big catch inside Sioux Falls territory, inside the 40. Mark him at the 39. Cody Scott, that's a big reception for the tight end.
That's his 5th of the game, and that was an incredible catch. The pass was very, very. It was in a very small window there, and he was able to bring it in. It just shows his athleticism there.
As much as the struggles as Noah Johns has had this season, he has shown some flashes of brilliance, like that throw right there, to put St. Louis in Sioux Falls territory.
Well, as long as he's got protection, man, he could be extremely dangerous.
Here's a throw underneath to Dawson for 6 yards, and that's a good read. There's nothing open over the top, so just get 6 yards.
Yeah, it's a very smart, conservative play. It's, what they need to do. They don't lose their heads. They're down by a lot, but, a little chunk of yards at a time.
Now a 2nd and 4 after the gain of 6. Under 5 minutes to go in the third. This third quarter has gone like a flash, mostly because of the long Sioux Falls drive. Low snap for Dawson. He corrals it. Plenty of time to throw out to the near side, and that pass is caught. And St. Louis is in the red zone for the first time, and Badir Ajlani has his first catch of the game.
All right. Yeah, that shows you what Noah Johns can do when he's got the right type of protection. I mean, that was an all-star throw there. He had plenty of time. He was able to go through his progressions and hit Agilani right in the numbers.
If you look up corner route on Google, a video comes up of that play. That was perfection by Ajlani. Again, alone in the backfield is Johns, and he's got pressure in his face, and he completes the pass underneath under pressure. Amazing play right there to Benny Brazil.
Yeah, that was a big-time play. And he's doing everything he can to get rid of that ball. And, again, he's shown us what he can do.
Benny Brazil, the third tight end on the depth chart, is in and making plays. Everybody stepping up on this drive for St. Louis. Now they'll go back to a 2-back set with Johns. And again, plenty of time to throw to the end zone, and it's knocked away.
Yeah, that was to Finch.
It was to Finch, and it was broken up by Barnhart. That's been the matchup all day, Finch against Barnhart, and Barnhart's been shutting him down.
Definitely. That's his first target.
In a tough situation, I can understand Johns trying to force the issue to his favorite receiver.
Yeah, I actually thought he was open, but he was closed on pretty quickly.
They give to Dawson on 3rd and 2, and Sioux Falls bottles him up. And they're going to score points on this drive, but it's not going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We saw some signs of excellence there on the drive, and it's just the Sioux Falls defense was able to keep them from getting in the end zone.
Interesting call on 3rd and 2 to run it up the middle when both linebackers were on the defensive line.
Ooh.
Oh, it's blocked, and they're not going to get anything from it. I called it too early as the offensive line rumbles, and Graham Northrup can't get the kick away.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. That's unfortunate. It seemed like a slow motion instant replay on that snap. It took so long to develop.
Graham Northrup, that's the first time he's been on the field except to kick the ball off in the second half. And he gets it blocked. And now Colin Hart will continue to burn through this clock. 3 minutes to go in the third and counting after the 1-yard run.
Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. Just keep giving the ball to Hart and let him grind out and burn up time.
Tyree over the middle. Intercepted! He's thrown 3, and Douglas has 2, and St. Louis are in business at the Sioux Falls 29.
Yep, here's the defense again, doing what they need to do. capitalizing on that turnover. It wasn't the best throw, and it's kind of interesting because I thought Tyree had plenty of time to get rid of that ball, but that was probably one of his worst passes of the day.
He zinged it in there looking for Porter, and Porter did all he could to try and catch up to it, but he could not, and it found the hands of Colin Douglas, and now Noah Johns is going to dump it to Diesel Dawson, and Dawson uses some good speed to get 4 yards.
Yep, Dawson and Scott have got the workload of the offense on them. We still haven't seen Finch with a reception, and we did have one for Agilani, but there's 2 wide receivers that need to get engaged.
Second down and 6. From the Sioux Falls 25-yard line, 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third. Dawson is cut down almost as he grabbed the football from the hands of Johns.
Yeah, the the Sioux Falls defense isn't going to give them any favors. They don't want to get any points on them.
It was Jose Fuentes on the linebacker blitz overloading the right-hand side of the offensive line. And there was nowhere for Dawson to go. Now on 3rd and 8, John's going to throw shorts, and it's falling out of bounds after making the catch. Is Nick Finch. It's his first reception of the night, but it's going to be too short.
Yep. I think they're going to be going for a field goal here.
Looks like they have that unit out on the field as Graham Northrup will try again, this time from considerably longer range. This one will be a 40-yard attempt, as opposed to about a 29-yard attempt from the previous play. Snap is down, kick is away. It is no good. Missed it wide left, and St. Louis remains at 0 points on the night.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They they got the turnover. They were driving, and they started sputtering as they got closer to the end zone. Maybe they should have gone for it on 4th down. I mean, you're down by 27 points. Field goal isn't gonna put much a dent in it.
Now Sioux Falls gets the ball back again. Now we do not keep stats for preseason, and I do not have the score off the top of my head. And Tyree goes over the middle to Porter, makes a catch for 8 yards. Sioux Falls in the preseason played San Francisco and did something similar to the performance you're seeing tonight on both sides of the ball. I think it was upper 30s to 7 was the final score of that game.
Yeah, they're on track to do that tonight.
Tyree, 2nd down and 2 after the completion to Porter. He's going to throw to Colin Hart, and Colin Hart's got room and blockers to run through. Past midfield and more, down to the St. Louis 32-yard line.
Yeah, that was looking like a sack from the beginning. It looks like the burst through and got into the quarterback's face, and he was actually going down and got rid of the ball at the last second. And then you see the blockers there get up there and make a good hole for him to get through for a big gain.
Talk about cool under pressure. Julian Tyree, as he was being dragged to the ground, got the ball away to Colin Hart and got 20-plus yards out of it. Here's over the middle to Garrett, and Garrett's got 9. As we reach the end of the third quarter, only 10 seconds left now.
Yeah, just like that, they're almost in the red zone. That Sioux Falls offense can definitely move down the field pretty quickly.
We have reached the end of this evening's third quarter. Sioux Falls running away with this one. Sparrows 27, Gladiators nothing. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on Twitch. Tonight's Simulation Football League broadcast on Twitch is brought to you in part by Nation's Best Football, helping NFL, college, high school, and youth players #SecureTheBag. by ScoreStream, the official live scoring app of the SFL. By Sector 6, custom esports jerseys and apparel in the exclusive SFL shop provider. And by SpyGoat, dedicated to the craft of audio. And those aerial shots of St. Louis and the surrounding area are brought to you by AirViews United by Drone. Visit airviews.com. That's AIRVUZ.com to see more drone footage. We move to the final frame in this contest. And here's Colin Hart as he spins past the tackle and picks up a first down inside the red zone to the 17.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the fourth quarter. Yeah, Hart better drink his liquids when he gets on the sidelines because they're going to run him to death.
A chance for Colin Hart to pad the stats. He comes in. I'll start that again. He came into the game with 309 yards, 4 touchdowns on the season. Here's another pass out to Hart, and he will only gain 1 there. It's a good tackle by Tyron Jones.
You know, the St. Louis, the St. Louis defense is they're still hanging in there. I mean, you got to give them credit. They're still putting pressure on the quarterback, still playing like it's 0-0.
Despite the lopsided score, I think the defensive coaching staff figured a lot of things out this week. It's now just up to the offense to get them going and get them in games where they're competitive. As a short pass over the middle is caught for 3 yards by Porter. Let's do some quick chat shout-outs since we're into the fourth quarter now. I see Nick Finch, Jay Ringgold, Cheeseburger Rivers, Crazy Eights 2000, Sports Fan 39, and everybody else tuning in to the SFL on Twitch tonight. We thank you for joining us on a Monday evening. Here's a play action to Hart, throw to the far side to Porter. Porter makes the grab but can't turn upfield and will be less than a yard shy of the first down marker of the 7.
Yeah, that looked like he might have been past the line there, but...
Yeah, I think so too, but I don't think that Jason McGee on the sideline there is going to throw the challenge flag in a 27-0
Yeah, no,
game.
they're not. I just thought it was a bad spot.
Oh, another chance
What do I know, Michael? What do I know?
Well, another chance for Prefontaine to pitch in a chip shot field goal. This is going to be from 19 yards, or 24 yards, and that one is good, and the score is now Sioux Falls 30, St. Louis nothing. 9 minutes, 8 seconds to go. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on Twitch, and as I mentioned earlier in the quarter, there's a lot more Simulation Football League action to come this week. Tonight, it's the SFL Fan Night Game of the Week with Mike Daggs and Matt Wilson as Queen City travels to Alaska on 11 Sports. And then tomorrow, we got 2 games on 11 as the undefeated Atlanta Swarm take on the New Orleans Pharaohs, and last year's beaten finalists Denver Nightwings take on the Houston Hyenas. Looking ahead to tonight, Charles, it's a battle of the 2 SFL franchises with the most titles between them. 7 championships will be on display tonight.
Yeah, I just hate to be the team that's playing Alaska after that last loss.
Yeah, Alaska fell to Tallahassee. A handoff to Dawson, and you can see Dawson a little bit slower than he was in the first half. Everybody running out of steam a little bit here as the game winds down.
Yeah, unfortunately, now they're at the point where maybe less balls to Dawson and maybe start spreading it out. Even though they're covered, you're going to have to take a shot at the wide receivers in order to get that ball down the field quickly.
John's in the gun, 3 receivers to aim for. He'll change the play at the line. Defense reacts accordingly.
Yeah, they drop deep.
Yeah, and Johns is going to have all day to throw. Throws to the far side. A penalty flag flies. It's caught. And getting the first down is Jacob Swain. And we'll see what the penalty flag is.
Pass interference, number 20.
It'll be pass interference against the Sparrows, which is declined, and St. Louis will take the first down.
Yeah, that was an interesting play. They had a couple of receivers open. It was like they all ran down like 8 or 9 yards and just stopped. And the defenders were about 5 to 10 yards off them.
Well, a good curl route never
Yep.
hurt anybody.
That's right. Especially when they're playing off so far.
They get a first down out of it. This time the linebackers will drop in coverage. Dawson with a lot of work to do, and he's just swarmed by a bunch of yellow helmets, and he'll lose 2 yards.
Michael, I think that's a T-shirt. A good curl route never hurt anybody. I'd
If
buy
it
it.
ain't, it shouldn't be. I
I'd
need to
buy
ask
it.
Cam to get on that. Official SFL apparel coming this week. No, it's not. Second and 11 after the loss of 1. And another almost interception as jumping the route was Barnhart and sets up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, there wasn't much trajectory on that one, and the defense was able to close on that.
And I can see where St. Louis was coming from with the offensive game plan. If you got Barnhart, Ringgold, Levy, and Davis sitting back there in the secondary, you're going to be apprehensive to throw deep. But at some point, you got to throw game plan out the window. Here's 3rd and 11. Low snap corralled by Johns. Hit as he throws, and he throws another pick. 3rd of the night for Johns, and A.J. Levy has his interception on the evening, his first of the season.
Yeah, it looks like Johns was hit and he was falling down as he was throwing the ball, and it put it way up there in the air and allowed the defender to get a bead on it. But again, that's case in point around offensive line blocking. He's hadn't had any all day, and he's paid the price.
I think we mentioned it earlier. On most of the plays tonight where Johns has dropped back, he's had to move in the pocket, he's had to roll out, he's had to scramble. It's not been an easy night for the rookie in the backfield.
Yeah, we saw what he could do, though, when he has time.
Here's another sack. 4th of the night. Shane Masters has a hat trick of sacks. And
That's awesome.
Somebody on the St. Louis sidelines having a good day. The Australian with 3 sacks on the night.
Yeah, the Australian nightmare. He came through. He's really playing out of his zone today. That's awesome. Goes from 0 sacks to 3.
Here's a play action. And tapping the toes to get all those yards back and more is Porter. Riley Porter's had a very good game and has not been rewarded with the points because all the touchdowns have gone to Warren.
Warren's not sharing.
Yeah, I know. But a lot of the big chunk yardage in the middle of the field has gone to Riley Porter.
Yep.
Tyree down the field, caught by Porter. Inside the 30, down to the 26.
That was another dangerous pass, but the difference between at least tonight between Johns and Tyree is Tyree's able to find that small hole and get the ball in. I mean, he's had a couple interceptions as well, so can't go too easy on him. He's got 3 as well.
Here's a pass out to Colin Hart. Hart dropped for a loss of 1 on 1st down. Riley Porter has 90 yards on 8 receptions tonight. He's got the most yards by far of any wide receiver in the game. And he still is probably not going to get player of the game. It's probably going to be Tyree.
Definitely. Well, could be A.J. Warren with 2. And there might be a couple votes for Ringgold on that on interception return.
That's true. Out to Porter again for 4. We'll make that 5. And my reasoning against having Warren be the player of the game is that he only has 6 receptions. Yes, 2 of them are for touchdowns, but he's been shut down on all ends of the field except the end zone.
Yeah, I think though the tight ends, the touchdowns trump.
We shall see what that has in store for us at the end. This is the 4th interception for Tyree. Marquise Reed grabs one, his first pick of the season, and it's 1st down for St. Louis inside their own 10.
Yeah, they're not going down, without a fight. And I think maybe this might move Warren closer up to the player of the game status.
That's true. Tyree, 4 interceptions tonight, 5 last week. And so he is not infallible, the Sioux Falls quarterback. And unfortunately, St. Louis has not been able to capitalize on their 4 turnovers tonight as Dawson takes a handoff for 4 yards off the right side.
Yeah, he's going to have to start. He's going to have to start targeting those wide receivers, or maybe even the tight end going down the middle on a fly route.
Next week for St. Louis, they travel to Oklahoma City to play the Renegades. Should be an interesting test for both teams as Dawson can't quite get away from the tackler on the outside, which was Nick Fargo. They'll go up tempo now. Under 5 minutes to play in the ballgame. Johns going deep. Johns is picked for the 4th time. Both quarterbacks have thrown 4 interceptions. And it's interception for number 34. Terrell Davis, the rookie, gets his 2nd pick of his career.
Yeah, it's an interception festival tonight, Michael.
Wasn't sure why I guess it was 3rd down, but why you're going that far down the field? The guy's got nothing to lose, but into double coverage. And it was an easy pick for Davis. And here goes Colin Hart. Colin Hart is free, and he's inside the St. Louis 25.
That was what do you say? Good run, Colin Hart. I just was, hoping that they would have given him the ball a little bit more than they have. Shown he can run. He's got a 7.1 yard per carry, and he's only been given, 12, 13 attempts.
Yeah. This is, I'm not going to say the best game of the season for Colin Hart because he did have that 4 touchdown performance against Atlanta in week 1, but this is definitely the best performance that Hart has had since then. First and 10 from the 24. Tyree under center. A handoff to Hart up the middle.
Wow.
Goes nowhere.
Not sure why he cut in. He had it wide open on the outside.
I guess he thought his offensive line would build a path to run through, and Jones said none of that. Coming up for the Sioux Falls Sparrows, they start a 3-game homestand next week. And they'll play host to the Mexico City Aztecs, another strong team here in the SFL. Second and 9 for Tyree. He'll throw to Hart, who's got some room to run, but the throw took him a little bit backwards, and he can't get away from the tackle.
Yeah, it's a manageable 3rd and 4. Not a lot of you can't really point out a lot of faults at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think both teams pretty much know the outcome of this one, and they're just going to play out the last 3 minutes and 18 seconds of this football game. Tyree under center on 3rd and 4, going to hand it to Hart. Hart's going to get a 1st down right up the middle. Man, that might be the first time Colin Hart has gone. Well, that's actually the backups are in.
Freddie Fox. Wow.
I was going to say, that's the first time a run up the middle has gone for more than like a yard.
Yeah, that's it's Marr and Masters have been plugging up that middle. So maybe they were expecting something else and caught him off guard.
Nick Finch in the chat asks, does anyone know the biggest blowout in SFL history? I do not. Off the top of my head. I've seen some big ones. I remember in season 9, Tallahassee beating Cleveland by about 47. I think it's the biggest one I've called. Now gunning down to the 2-minute warning as here's another run for Fox. Fox gets 3. Yeah, this, I think we'll take it to the 2-minute warning here. There's only 6 seconds to go until then. I mentioned, and I'll get to this after the 2-minute warning as we have hit that interval. 2 minutes to go in this one. Sioux Falls all over St. Louis. It's started it up like this is the SFL presented by APM Music on Twitch TV. I mentioned that the Sparrows have a 3-game homestand coming up, and they play some of the league's best. They've got Mexico City and Baltimore coming to South Dakota in 2 straight weeks. As the pass over the middle is caught for a touchdown. Put it on the board. J.J. McGee.
Wow.
Gets a touchdown for a backup, something to put in his locker. And it's actually the...
That was a duck.
Yeah,
the
a
duck
complete
left
duck.
the pond.
It's actually a touchdown pass. Tyree's not going to get the credit for that because it was Willie Beeman who was in the backfield for that one. All the bench warmers getting to play a little bit of a part here. And the third game of the Sioux Falls homestand is against Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they played some pretty tough teams of the first 3. They went up against Seattle and Atlanta.
You were there last night, Charles. How good is this Seattle Tyrants team looking 5 weeks into the season?
They're scary. They're really scary. I mean, just having that beast in the backfield. I mean, Sandlin is a monster, and if you could hand it off to him 25 times a game, no worries.
And I expected Seattle to do well. They are, of course, about 9/10 of the Dallas team that made the semifinals in Season 12. And they kept most of the roster together when they moved up to the Northwest. And so it's not a surprise that they're doing well. I don't think an undefeated start was what I imagined because they played a tough schedule to open the season as well.
Yeah, definitely. But I really like those throwback uniforms too. I hope they break them out again.
Yeah, I think it was just because they were going up against former owner Stephen Mullinax's Jones.
Right. Yeah.
Hits down the field. Catch made by Swaim. Johns throws short, complete for 1 yard. And I think now the St. Louis offense may find some success up against the backups for the Sparrows. Johns, a long rainbow pass is caught by... I didn't expect Cody Scott to catch that, but yet he did, and St. Louis burns a timeout there down to the Sioux Falls 20.
Yeah, Cody Scott is, he's been between him and Dawson. They've been the split pretty much receiving chores, half and half. 7 receptions for Dawson and 6 for Scott.
Definitely not enough Nick Finch nor Badira Ajlani today.
That's quite a compliment to the defensive backs. Only 2 receptions for both wide receiver, the first wide receiver and the second. I mean, normally you're high-fiving when you clamp down their number 1, but when you get their first 2, that doesn't happen very often.
It does not. It was a 3-yard loss by Dawson on first down. Johns goes back to Dawson on second down, and he'll gain 2 of those yards back as St. Louis calls a timeout. 56 seconds left to go in the ball game, and St. Louis trying to salvage something here on the last drive of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to get points on the board before they go, and Sioux Falls, the vets on the sideline are cheering on the defense, trying to walk away with shutout.
Johns over the middle. Nick Finch has his second catch. Final timeout called by St. Louis. They're at a 4th and 2 at the 11, and I would go for this and try and get it in the end zone.
Oh, definitely. I mean, What I mean, what are you going to lose? I mean, you got it.
Exactly.
And
They
the field goal
are-
kicker hasn't been showing much today either.
Yeah, he got one blocked, and then he missed another one, and now Johns and company are on the field 4th and 2, that he is going to be sacked, and the shutout will be preserved by the Sioux Falls defense. Tyrone Black with the sack to end the ball game.
Yeah, and I think that's a good punctuation for what we've seen today on the offensive side for St. Louis.
And Willie Beeman will come on to kneel the ball down one time. No, two times. And that'll do it. Your final score will be Sioux Falls 37, St. Louis nothing. And despite the lopsided score, the defense for St. Louis, I thought, played pretty well. They just had way too many minutes out there on the field.
Yeah, definitely way too many minutes. It's sad because guys like Colin Douglas, Marcus Reed, Mo Rivers, Shane Masters had great games, and all you see walking out of here is a nil.
That'll be it. Final play of the game is kneeled down by Bayman. Stay tuned on 11 Sports tonight. You've got the game of the week, Quaid City in Alaska. But for Charles Doherty and myself, Michael Chirillo, we'll see you next time from Budweiser Stadium. Once again, your final score, Sioux Falls 37, Gladiators nothing.